Hey, generic American host mom here, and I wanted to share a story with you about why I like having different people in my home. Let's say so. Three things you need to know about me. First of all, is that my family was like super religious, to the point where my aunt was a missionary in the Philippines for like 25 years, and this was like a long time ago, like Ferdinand Marcos, like long ago. So she was a missionary in the Philippines, and I loved my aunt so much. She was one of the most wonderful people you'll ever meet. Like, she probably never told anybody to F off ever in her entire life. Like, she was so sweet and so loving and so forgiving and just, oh, mwah, just a wonderful, wonderful person. So when I was little, she, point two that I probably should tell you is that I have memories from when I was like really little, like crazy little. Like, I actually remember somebody lifting me up by the waistband of my snow pants and laughing and taunting me, and and him saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't make a big deal. She's not going to remember it." I remember, Alan. You're a jerk. Um anyway, so when I was little, my aunt would be in the Philippines for like 2 years straight, and then she would come home for, I don't know if she was home for a whole year or what, because she wasn't at home with us. She would be on what they called furlough, and she would be going around to churches panhandling, asking people to donate money to sponsor her for another year. So even though she was stateside, she wasn't home. Anyway, um, she would come home, and she was just like having a rock star in the family. Like, everybody like made a big deal out of her. She was super special, and she was super good, and she was just amazing. And my mom loved her to pieces, as we all did. And she was just she was just wonderful. She was just a wonderful person, and I loved it when she'd come home because, oh, she was great. Uh, anyway, so I have memories from being super little. Like, I have memories from like 18 months old, like super super little. Then the other thing that I should probably share is that I used to see colored lights in the dusk, in like the evening, like under streetlights at the playground. I remember running around catching these colored lights, and I can remember feeling them in my hand and then opening up my hand and then watching them float away. I definitely remember doing this, and I remember my asking my mom, come catch the fairies with me," and remember her going, "There's nothing there. I don't see anything." And I remember thinking it was so weird that I knew something that a grown up didn't, that there were these lights that floated around in the evening at dusk time. And the other thing I knew about those lights is that when I got scared or if I got tired, they would start clumping together and forming bigger and bigger shapes. And I can definitely remember during a thunderstorm, the lights uh, bunched together turned into a polar bear that chased me down the hallway. Um, yeah, this was, to my brain, very, very real. Side note, it's floaters. After I got glasses and was actually able to process correct information, I think I still have a lot of floaters. It's just a me. But as an adult, you filter that part out of your brain. You don't pay any attention to it. But at the time, I knew that these colored light things floated around in the dark. They were there all the time, but it was only at dusk that you could see them. And I knew this. I knew. Adults didn't know what they were talking about. I knew this was real. So, I must have been about 4 years old. There was back in the day, there were like 4 channels on television. I don't know which one I was watching. I didn't even know where to begin. But I was watching TV probably when I wasn't supposed to be. And it was turned to a channel that I probably wasn't supposed to be watching. It might have been on like NBC instead of public television. So it wasn't going to be Sesame Street coming on. It was probably soap operas. Anyway, they had this advertisement for a movie, probably a made for TV movie about aliens from outer space. And the graphic they showed is that when the lights went off, these people that looked like people, when the lights went off, they turned into these green glowing frog, like green glowing shapes with red eyes. And thinking about it now, it was probably horrible, horrible 1970s graphics, such as it was. And it probably didn't represent anything quite so much as like a glowing Kermit the Frog with red eyes. But I was terrified because remember, I already knew that you could see these things when you shut the lights off. And now there's this movie that's confirming that this shit's real. Okay? I also seem to remember at the time there was like a commercial for some sort of gum that if this is true, then somebody dancing at a discotheque and was like, well, if this mouthwash really works, I'm getting married just like that. And boom, he's at a wedding. And so I thought that was real. I had to have my mom explain it to me. Anyway, I was terrified of this alien, that there were people in our world that look like people until you turn the lights off. And then they have these red glowing eyes and green, phosphorescent skin. I was terrified. But I was a little bit of a weird kid. And I really don't know whether it was 15 minutes or 15 days before I finally told my mom about it. And of course, like I said, I was watching TV. I probably shouldn't have been. My mom had not seen the same commercial that I had seen. My mom didn't watch TV. See, also, she was religious, from a religious family, so she didn't watch TV. So anyway, one night, it finally got too much to me, the lights and the dark and stuff, and I finally broke down and told my mom about these aliens that I was scared of. Now, my poor mom, see, also, didn't know what I meant by aliens. I'd seen aliens on the TV. I did not have a huge vocabulary at this time because I was a little kid, 3, 4 years old. And 1970s, I didn't watch a lot of television. So my mom was trying to reassure me and had no idea what I was talking about. So she's like, oh, it's okay. You don't need to be afraid of aliens. I mean, your Aunt Fran's an alien. What? What do you mean? Yeah, in the Philippines, that's her legal status as an alien. And so I was like 3, 4 years old. I had no idea what legal status meant, but I did know that my aunt glows in the dark and it was going to be okay. So, all right, catch you later.